Welcome to the Irish Pagan School podcast. Your hosts are authors and co-founders of the Irish Pagan School here in County Waterford, Ireland, Laura O'Brien and Jon O'Sullivan. Fáilte.
Is it possible the milk from one cow could feed an entire tribe? Well, Dagdi Agus Fáilte. Hi, hello, and welcome. It's Jon O'Sullivan, the Irish Pagan School. And yes, the answer, not hard to say, there is a story of one particular creature, one particular cow from our mythology and our folklore and our myth, which speaks about it doing exactly that. It is known as the Glas Gaibhnenn. The Glas Gaibhnenn is said to be a cow who is either linked with Goibniu the Smith or linked with blacksmiths down through time, oddly, but it is this creature that no matter what size or how many vessels you put underneath the cow and milk, it will completely fill. So what's fascinating about the Glas Gaibhnenn is the fact that we have mythological stories about this creature being connected to the Tuatha Dé Danann Smith god, Goibniu. But the story of it carries on down through a mythological era into our more modern folklore. And we have examples of it listed, multiple examples of it listed in the school's collection. But it's not, some of those are retelling the old story, the mythological story. But there's some that talk about it as if it were current. They refer to this cow that used to go around the parish and anyone could milk it. There was no one could own the cow, no one person claimed the cow, but everyone milked the cow. And everyone got a decent amount of milk from the cow. And it just grazed everywhere until some person took it in their head to find out exactly how much milk this cow could give. And this is where the variations on the story in a more modern folklore turn that sadder side of things, where essentially you don't mess with the luck of the tribe, you don't mess with the luck of the fortune, or you don't mess with entities of the other crowd or challenge the boons you're receiving, because invariably you'll lose them. So in one version of it, a woman kind of claims that she will find out exactly how much milk this can give and puts a hole in the end of a pail and then milks the cow into it. But then enough milk comes out that it makes these three streams. This one actually comes from County Clare, and it said that there's these. Is it three or is it seven? No, actually, yeah, there's one version of the tale that says she milks enough liquid from or milk from this cow that it flows out the bottom of the pail and creates seven streams, and those streams are known as the Srus Vaughan, or the white flow. Of course, then she invariably in that version milks the cow to death, or in another version, the woman puts a sieve underneath to try and prove that it can't fill every vessel. But of course, the sieve has holes in it, so again, it milks its way through. And in that version of the story, the cow realizes that it's being taken advantage of, and it just leaves and runs into the ocean. Now, the older mythological stories link this cow not just with the Tuatha Dé Danann Smith god, but also with the origins and downfall of a particularly dangerous character in Ireland's myth, and that is Balor, the king of the Fomorians, one of the kings of the Fomorians. And there's a prophecy against Balor that his grandson would kill him. And so he takes his daughter and he locks her away in a tower. Classic kind of circumstance. But the cow comes into it oddly, in that this cow being owned by Goibniu is coveted by Balor. And so Balor sneaks in and steals the halter or the bridle for the cow, knowing that the cow will always follow wherever that is. And so, sure enough, Goibniu realizes the halter's been stolen, so he has to guard his cow, guard his cow, guard his cow all of the time, or she'll wander away to follow her halter, which means she'll go to Balor. Unfortunately, he's called to make a sword for someone. He says, "You have to mind my cow while I make your sword." The person takes their eyes off the cow for a split second, and the cow is gone. So, how does this link to the downfall of Balor? Well, the person who is sent to recover the Glas Gaibhnenn, the person who is sent to recover the cow, is none other than Cian. Cian is sent all the way over to the island, out of Ireland, to try and recover the cow, specifically the bridle. Because if he can get this kind of halter or bridle back, then the cow will just come back on its own. And so he sneaks in to try and steal it. And with the help of a banshee, a woman of the Sidhe, Cian is sent into this tower. And there he finds Ethna, and Ethna is the daughter of Balor. They have a tryst, fall in love. She bears children. Those are the grandsons of Balor. The grandsons of Balor goes into a rage, realizing that it has happened. He throws them all into the sea. And in one version of the story, it is Monaghan MacLear who saves the lone child from the sea. In the other version of the story, it's actually Goibniu who is coming to try and recover the halter and coming to lure back his cow. And in these tales, that child who's rescued from the sea is none other than Lugh, the one who becomes the Eildonach, he of the many interlinked talents, and the one who fulfills the prophecy to slay Balor of the Baali. So this Glas Gaibhnenn, this cow, is a source of fortune, but for some, but also a source of misfortune for others. In versions of the story, the cow is not claimed in the more modern folklore, where they talk about this presence of the cow. They say that it was just a cow. It was just there. And it would graze up and down Ireland. It would graze wherever it wanted, and no one interrupted or laid hands or tried to corral or control the cow. As long as everyone just left it be, they could come up, they could take some milk from it, and then they could carry on their way. There is still a place. There's a dolmen. A dolmen is an erection of stones, three stones with a capstone, in Shillea in County Clare, which is known as Labba na Glas, as in bed of the Glas, or bed of the cow, bed of the green or grey cow. And that's what gloss means. So everyone says that gloss is the color. Modern Irish has the word gloss being the color green, but in older Irish it was grey or blue or green or sea green. So there's variations, and in some translations of the Glas Gaibhnenn, it's either this white cow with green markings on it, much like modern day Frisians. Instead of the black patches, they're green. Or it is this grey flanked or grey sided cow. But either way, by not messing with the cow, by not harming or undoing or trying to dominate the fortune of the cow, it was possible that an entire tribe or parish in modern senses could milk a cow and be saved by it, and be fed by it. The more modern stories link it to the 1840s to 1850s during the famine. So, of course, people being very hard done by then during that difficult time in Irish history, remembering stories of abundance, remembering these old tales, and then trying to live in right balance with that is very inspiring for me. So, yeah, cows. There is a particular narrative of a cow that could, in fact, feed an entire parish or tribe. So, as I said, I'm here, Jon O'Sullivan, the Irish Pagan School. We teach a lot of information about Irish history, culture, paganism, spirituality, mythology. I'm doing a series where I explore these mythical creatures and how relevance to them still exists today in our world, or how the tales and the narratives of the older times can and should inform our culture where it is now. If you'd like to know more, do check out the irishpagan.school/free for a year's worth of free resources from us. And as ever, look after yourself. Take care. Until next time, slán. Goodbye.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please leave us a positive review in your podcast listener. Then head over to irishpaganschool.com and enroll in one of our free or paid courses. Slán go fóill, and we will see you next time.